Meta lead forms are an undervalued unlock for a lot of advertisers. A lot of people miss the key features that make them good and then just let them soak in bot traffic and trash leads. So today I'm going to go over 7 key features that a lot of people miss. And this is what I use myself for about 50% of my accounts to get the best quality leads in for the lowest cost. And as a bonus, hopefully a lot of it is stuff that you probably haven't seen before. Okay, so step 1 is leverage the backgrounds and styling of the forms themselves. Most people leave the background image turned off, so it just uses the image of the ad itself. But if you switch it on, you can use it to put a big reminder of what you're actually getting people to sign up for. It's this space in gray you can see here. You don't need this black box. It's just to show you where the card itself will be overlaid, but you can use that to clarify to people what they're doing to stop some of that zombie mode when they're filling out the forms and restate the offer and or targeting that you're looking for in order to complete the form. So you might call out dads or builders or nurses or whatever it is that your niche is that you're targeting. You can put that in that image itself as the text. One thing to keep in mind that it's 1200 by 680 pixels. It's not 9 by 16. So don't use a 9 by 16 because the formatting will look weird. Use 1200 by 628. Also, it looks better with a dark background rather than a light one because as you can see, the card that goes over it is white. On this point, something to note about the lead form itself is that there's a difference between the formatting of long form and dot points. So what I mean is if you use dot points for the first page, they get cut off after the first 2, whereas the paragraph, as far as I know, doesn't. So you can see the full paragraph shows here. So if you're a really good copywriter, you may actually want to use the paragraph because you can fit more copy into the initial view without people having to click the show more button to see the rest of the copy. So something to keep in mind. The next thing is 2FA tactics. So for those who haven't tried it, you can actually use mobile phone 2FA. So that means people have to request a code via SMS in order to complete the form. And what it will look like on the form itself, as you can see here, it says verifying. So it will send a message to the person's phone number, and they have to enter that message in. I can't remember how many numbers it is. 8-digit code here. That will allow them to submit the form. This is really good to make sure that the phone numbers are as close to 100% valid as possible. But what I do find is that increases your lead cost probably about 50 to 100% on average. So keep that in mind. If you're finding you're getting a ton of trash leads, this is a really good fix to implement because you don't have to edit the lead form itself. You can just turn on this feature. And then as a bit of a hack, sometimes I turn it off later because we know the learning happens on the lead form itself. So if you run the lead form for, say, 2 months and you get those better quality leads in that have been 2FA verified along the way, and then you turn it off, it has those 2 months of learnings of the types of people who convert. So it's less likely to get those spam and trash leads after that. Just a small hack for you there. The work email 2FA option, I find personally, it's in the same section of where you can turn it on here, require work email addresses. I don't find it to be as good as the mobile. In fact, I find the costs go up the one time that I've tried it, to be honest. Cost went up about 5 times and it made the total funnel unworkable from a commercial point of view. It was just not worth the money going into it versus the value that we're getting out of the back of it. So something to keep in mind if you want to test it, it might be lower on your list. While we're here, if you want free help, I'm offering a free 25-minute Q&A call. If you want to go through some of your own lead form magic, find the link below, click the link, and we can book a time to chat through your particular lead gen setup on Meta. Next, use the actual lead center. I can't believe so many people don't even know that this exists. It's simple to go to. You just go to business.facebook.com/lead center, and it will show you a CRM that looks pretty much like this, where you can click and drag the leads between each stages. But what it does is it actually signals back to Meta who's good and who's bad. So as you drag the leads, you can drag people to non-qualified as a stage. And so you can signal back the unqualified leads to Meta. So for a lot of people getting trash leads, that's a really simple fix. Just mark all of those leads in the lead center as not qualified, and it will get rid of that understanding in the targeting. As well, for the people who are qualified, drag them over to the qualified stage and signal back to Meta that you actually want more of those people. Just be careful of moving too many leads at once because I've found a couple of times it's been reported to me by people who started using this. When they move over too many leads at once, it can confuse the algorithm. So you want to do it a little bit at a time. So keep on top of it from the beginning, or if you're using this later, move them bit by bit. Moving the leads is actually super powerful, by the way. So for one client, they had a problem with the show rate. I managed to get the show rate from 12 to 40% just by moving those who showed to converted. So the highest or the strongest lead quality signal here on this pipeline. This is the default pipeline, by the way. It's got these 3 stages. Um, just by moving that, I managed to get the show rate of the calls back up. If you don't have a lot of shows yet, if you haven't got any shows and conversions from your funnel yet, what you can do is you can work backwards from your goals. For example, if you're looking for sales closes and you haven't got any yet, you can move the people who show up to calls to the converted column to give that strong signal. If you haven't had any people who show up to calls, you can have people who book the calls in the converted column. If you haven't had any people who've booked calls in, you can move the people who answer callbacks when you're following up the leads in the converted column. So you can use that converted column for the deepest funnel stage that you have data for, and then move it up over time. They're not permanently in those stages. So once you get more closes, for example, you can keep just the closes in the converted column and then move everybody else slowly back. Next one, don't waste the last page. I can't believe, again, how many people just redirect to their website or something. Don't waste this page. So once they've submitted the lead form, this is a really great opportunity to push them deeper into the sales process, or encourage them rather to go deeper in the sales process. I pretty much always direct people to appointments here. So what you can do is you can see here, you can make it an action to go to your website, but put it to be the landing page of booking a callback, for example, rather than just going to your Instagram page or something like that. To encourage people as well, I always put the headline as something like, take the next step to finish. So something I use is step 2 of 2. Click the blue button below to book your call. Example. Yeah, don't forget to make the target link your appointment or checkout page if you're trying to do a low ticket sale for a service or the back of that. You can use your copywriting skills here for the body text and the button as well. So make sure they sound like they're getting something. So this is the headline here where it says, thanks, you're all set. Change that to like step 2 of 2, book your call, and then encourage them for a specific reason why they want to book that call. Like, positions are limited, book your thing before they will fill up, that kind of stuff. And then instead of view website, you can put like, claim spot or something like that. Use your copywriting skills to try and improve the conversion rate on this. Next, don't be afraid of adding a few qualifying questions using the conditional multiple choice. So you can see here, I have multiple choice switched on, and it is the conditional version. So you can use this to filter out leads. This helps you get less bots over time as well. What I tend to do is I put at least one question that stops people accidentally filling it out in order to get rid of the form. So annoyingly, I'm not sure which setting it is, but sometimes if you notice as you scroll Instagram, if it's running a lead form, it will pop open the lead form after the ad is done. And it doesn't give people a clear option to exit out of it. So a lot of people will complete a lead form just to get rid of it, when you can make it a really easy disqualification question first, being like, can you travel to or work near area if it's a really local solution or service that you're selling? Or are you interested in getting help with X, Y, and Z as the first question? So most people will bang on no, and that will just filter out those people straight away, the ones that want to get rid of the lead form, and it will tidy up your data and get meta focus on the people who click yes, as an example. So just a quick tip, anecdotally, I hear 3+ is about where the drop-off happens in the form completion rate. I personally use like 3 to 6 questions at a time, a lot of the time, not always, but a lot of the time. So I'm not too worried about the number of questions as long as it's not like 10 questions or something crazy. Next, check out rich intent forms. So when possible, if you have the time and inclination, use the rich forms. So what they're trying to do here is Meta doesn't want you to drive traffic off the platform. They want you to stay on the platform. So they're providing this option, which is a hybrid between a lead form and a landing page, which is these rich forms. Sometimes they don't show as an option here on the form type. It's just higher intent. So keep that in mind when you're looking for it. So use the rich creative because they allow you to add extra modules after the introduction page. So the modules they allow you to add are how it works, different product selections, social proof, and incentives. So I'll show you quickly what those look like. So you get your own section for adding a headline and an overview. You can also add 3 dot points as well. Be careful because some of the lengths on these things are not that long, so you can't do a traditional landing page headline that has, we will help you how to get X, Y, and Z without A, B, and C. You can't do that. You can do just half of that maybe. The how it works section, again, you can see here is 23 characters long, so you really can't make anything long here, but you can add extra steps. The product section, this one's a little bit unclear, so I think they fixed it lately. But yeah, make sure you put the images in these dimensions. It will select from your computer, not from your existing media library on Meta itself. So if you already uploaded the image before, you're going to have to upload it again when you add it here. But you can add a card for each of the features of your products or services. We have the social proof. So you can add, I think the image, if you don't add the image here, I don't think it will show. I think it will just show the reviewer's name and what they say. And this also heads up includes these little quotation marks in it already. So you don't have to add quotes here like this. Otherwise, it's going to show, like you can see here, four quotes. So just put in what they say directly there, and you can add multiple there. The incentives one, this one's pretty cool. It shows this little incentive section down the bottom. You can say like, free consultation and description, whatever. So you can put a disclaimer at the bottom, like first come, first serve, a description of what the incentive is, and a headline, and it will show it here. I think sometimes I've seen this show in green. I don't know if they test that or that was just poor memory on my part. So something to keep in mind. Also, I haven't noticed that the CPL increases when you use rich form versus regular, but I do hear back anecdotally from sales teams that they find that the leads are a little bit better when you use rich lead forms. Okay, so some KPIs to keep in mind. I aim for about 10% completion rate of lead forms and a self-booking rate of 10 to 25% off the back of that. So when I say a 10% completion of the lead form, I mean if you look at the number of link clicks, which represents people clicking the destination of your ad, not just clicking on your ad to read more or whatever it is, and then compare that to form submissions, you can aim for 10%. If it's less than 10%, you may be being too strict or your creative needs to be improved. If it's above that, you can probably afford to be more strict and bring it down, unless you want a really cheap cost per lead. But then you might run into quality issues. For the self-book rate, so if you remember, I was talking about using the last page to direct people to booking their calls. I find that around 10 to 25% of people self-booking calls is pretty normal. Maybe on average, I can get it up to 35%. So just something to keep in mind. If it's like on the lower end, 10%, you might be really strict again on who you're letting book a call after they've finished the lead form. If it's too low, then also keep in mind that you can move the leads in the lead center to convert it for the ones who do self-book to encourage Meta to find more people who self-book. And this is no joke. You can see here, this is in January. You can see the number of where it says call booked. Out of the leads coming through, there are quite a high number of these leads self-booking themselves. Okay, so I would suggest if you're going to try any of this, try one or two features at a time and see how it affects lead quality, testing different ideas from this list. If you want a bit of hands-on help or direct one-to-one help, don't forget you can find my free 25-minute Q&A call below. Otherwise, best of luck and see you on the next video.